Welcome to the Rebuild Podcast with your hosts, Carmen Turner and Beth Garodi. This is your space for personal and professional growth where we explore the importance of rebuild periods, time for reflection, growth, and rejuvenation. Join us for candid conversations and expert insights on embracing these phases to recalibrate your goals and discover your passions. Whether recovering from burnout or seeking a career change, the Rebuild Podcast is here to guide and inspire you. Ready to transform? Let's dive into today's episode.
Well, Carmen, here we are. I love it. I think for listeners, we're like official right now. We are in a podcast studio. We're together in Vancouver.
In
the beginning of the year. And here we are. We're like leveling up this year.
I know.
We're leveling up what we're doing. It's amazing.
It is amazing. Before we get started, let's recognize that we're recording on the unceded territories of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations.
Yep.
Here in Vancouver. Welcome, Beth. Welcome to
I always
the West
love
Coast.
Coming out here. Every time I land here, I think I live in the wrong part of this country. And why don't I live among the mountains and the ocean? So I'm very happy to be here. I've been here for a few days now. And I'm so glad we're like spending the whole afternoon together. And I just love when we're able to do this and love that we get to have these conversations. So,
well, I'm happy to have you here. It's so exciting. As we're recording this, it is the week of January 20th. So we have so much to catch up on. New year, new us.
New us. You know, I think it is on everyone's mind. And on Monday, I just simply refused to watch anything. I think, you know, the whole dichotomy of the inauguration happening on MLK Day as well was just a lot of emotions either way and a lot of thoughts either way. And I think it's so... I mean, our whole podcast is about rebuilding. Our whole podcast is about what happens when things happen unexpectedly or expectedly, and how do you show up? And I think this week there's a lot of people feeling really heavy, especially a lot of women, about what's going on in the world right now. And the rapist that is now running the United States of America. And
let's not sugarcoat it.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Let's call it for what he is. It's disgusting. It's disgusting that he is in power. And we have
the people backing him too. Let's call the 3 billionaires who stand behind him smugly.
Yes, it's disgusting, and both of us have American friends, both of us have American colleagues, who, you know, we at least have some arm's distance being here in Canada, but this is tough. Couple that with like fires happening and people losing their homes and their livelihoods. And, you know, like the state of the world feels like it's
so
hard.
Obvious now, you know, like so we talk a lot about social justice and environmental justice and integrating that, the cross-section of that as us as women in careers and living full lives, bringing all of us to work, all of us to our personal lives. And it's just been a lot. So to walk into 2025 and climate change being so fully on display and seeing the destruction and where does it's still ongoing now. It's not contained. To see with social media too, it's like we're watching it unravel. And for us personally, having gone through a climate disaster myself in the fall, it just triggered that and it all came back. So that contributing to sleepless nights, that what keeps you up.
Well, and coupled with Mr. Trump signing executive orders to remove the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement again, removing the U.S. from the World Health Organization, all of that, well, a decent part of his country is on fire or has been on fire. And just like what a slap in the face to everybody. To everybody, really. Well, he just laughs and signs these orders away. So I think, you know, this is an extreme version of what we talk about, but it's like, how do we show up for ourselves? How do we show up for friends? How do we show up for our colleagues? How do we show up for those people that we don't even know? Like your girlfriend who wrote Blake Lively an email today because of that whole situation that's going on. And how do we just support each other broadly and intimately while all of these challenges are going on around us? And how do we find those moments to take care of ourselves and take care of those around us?
Yeah. And I think just like the community that we're building through this podcast, through the rebuild.
Yeah.
I mean, never imagined that it would touch as many people as it has so far. I think we've only done, 14, 15 episodes and still going strong. But that is why we're doing this, is to build the community, show people that there are others like you. We've all gone through it. We're going through rebuilds. We're reinventing ourselves constantly. And so navigating these challenging times and showing up for each other.
Yeah. I mean, you coined it so well while we were just chatting before we hit record, and you said joy is resistance. And I think we need that in like a banner and flashing lights of like, joy is resistance right now. And how do we find that? And how do we build that? And we have our mother and God status, Taylor Swift, who provided that to us over the last 2 years with her Eras tour. Whether you love her or you hate her, I think the one thing, I didn't get the honor and the privilege of going to any of her concerts. I watched it all via social media. But anyone that I spoke to who went just said that it was so different than anything that had ever been done before, because everyone was like a best friend. Like no matter who you spoke to at the concert, it was like you were there with your best friends, the friendship bracelets being changed, like the energy and vibe that she brought was unlike anything. And just, it was joy. It was joy that she brought to the table.
It was incredible. Like every time I recount the story, and we'll get into it today, I just light up because to me, it was just how everything rolled out was like a miracle. And then experiencing this tour, which will arguably never happen again, and experiencing it with 60,000 other people at once, all singing and being joyful and like letting themselves just experience that joy for no other reason. Like I have 2 boys. And so when I would tell people I'm going to Taylor Swift, they would say, "Oh, are you reliving like your teenagehood, your like, or
childhood?
Like, why do you want to go see her? I don't understand." And so that was really, it was like, no, it's for myself. It's the only thing that's for myself. So this year, or sorry, in 2024, there was a few things that I really wanted to do, a couple of things. One was run that trail race, that
in the Yukon.
50K trail race with one of my best friends, Kelly. And then the other one was I wanted to take my kids to Disneyland, did that. And then the third one was I want to go see Taylor Swift, the Eras tour. And I had no idea how I was going to make it happen. I was like, I don't have any tickets. I don't know how to get tickets. How am I going to do this? And so it was just one of those things like, I'm going to make it happen. And that was just such a metaphor for everything else. Like any other goal you have, like it seems like it's not even reachable, but how are you going to do it? We're just going to do it.
You just have to start planting that seed in your head, right? Like that's the thing, because it's that whole psychology about like, once you buy a red car, all of a sudden you see red cars all around you, right? And it's everyone has a red car. And it's that same thing that you put in your mind about this is what I want to do and this is how I'm going to do it. And you start just thinking about it and you start acting towards it, and your brain just immediately starts coming up with ideas as to how to get you closer to that.
So it's from the energy of it's already done. It's already
I love
done.
That. Yeah.
So I had kind of started in the summer looking at dates in Europe. So I'm like, maybe I got to go to Europe to make this happen. And then like it just never, the dates didn't line up. And I was like, no, it ends in Vancouver. It's happening for a reason. It's in my hometown. Like this whole celebration is ending here. I'm meant to do it here. And so then leading up to the concert, I started kind of researching like, well, how do I get these tickets. Like, oh, they drop sometimes on Ticketmaster. So especially like a month before, I started following all these accounts on like who would let you know when is the drop going to happen on Ticketmaster. How can you win them? I put my name in all of the things to win. I tried to figure out who do I know that's also trying to get tickets or who's already going. I talked to them. I bought the freckles. I ordered the freckles
before having the tickets.
Before having the tickets,
you knew it. You knew you were going.
I knew it. I'm like, I know I'm gonna wish I had them, even if I don't get to go. And then, getting closer and closer, we figured out. So I signed up for all these social platforms like Twitter that I hadn't been on before, and TikTok, and I would get like the one word, which was go. And that would be like, tickets have dropped on Ticketmaster.
Oh my gosh.
Go now. And I would just text my friend. And I wasn't an approved fan. So I didn't even have a chance of getting in. So I would then text my friends who I knew had either bought tickets before or were approved. And I'd be like, go. And they would go online. And they'd be, of course, 5,000 in the lineup to get the tickets. And that happened like, I don't know, 5 times or something like that. And every time it's so emotional. And then at the end of the day, it's like she comes to Vancouver, does the first show, no tickets yet. And then it's the day of the second show, the Saturday. And I had determined with my good friend Heather, we were like, okay, we're going. We don't know if we're going Saturday or Sunday. Sunday's the closing show of the tour. We really want to go Sunday. Figured it out. We were going to do Sunday. And then we were just like, let's go on like StubHub, let's just drop in. Yeah. And we're like, okay, we're going. We're going to do this. Yeah. We just dropped in. And then after that, it was like, let's see where the magic unfolds. And it was just incredible. I met her. We took the sea bus over from the North Shore. And the city was it was like the Olympics again. Yeah. Everyone was just like buzzing. She went and got her makeup done at Sephora. I had the freckles on.
Yep.
And we're walking to meet some friends in down Yaletown. And this like one of those tuk-tuks pulls up where the driver's got his like friendship bracelet.
Amazing. Yeah.
All the way up to his elbows. He's like, hey girls, he's playing Taylor Swift. Want to ride? We're like, yeah, we do.
Yep. Amazing.
Jump in the tuk-tuk, and everyone's like cheering us on, singing. It was fun. Amazing.
And this is all still before you had tickets?
No, we had tickets
you
at
had
this
tickets
point.
For that. Okay.
So we knew they were behind the stage too. So this was the first concert of the tour where they actually opened up behind the stage and sold the tickets for $16, which was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So people were lucky enough to get $16 seats. Of course, those sold for like $1,200, $1,500, which were the seats we ended up getting.
Wow.
But I was thinking of it. I'm like, listen, you have to travel to go see Taylor Swift. You don't, this isn't like you get to see her if she's in, like, it just doesn't work like that. It is a big deal. We're lucky enough to do it in our hometown. I'm going to pay
whatever we need to.
Yeah, whatever we need to.
Yeah.
I know it's like way more than what the original price was, but it is what it is. So we get to the stadium, and a series of fortunate events. We actually ended up in the VIP section.
What? Oh my gosh, I did not realize
it just kept getting better and better. So first of all, the feeling of that Heather and I had I hadn't seen her. She's one of my really good friends. I hadn't seen her in so long. We hadn't spent any time together. She's such a busy mom. I'm a busy mom. We both have our own businesses, and we were like, oh my God, we get to go and have dinner together and like have a couple of cocktails before. Let's do it. And we'd met some friends who had been the night before, and they kind of let us in on this way of getting into the VIP section. So we did. We stealthily got in.
Incredible.
And had found the seats next to the bar, which are like nobody's seats. And they open up and we're like, those are our seats.
Bam. Got it.
Bam. It was
you went
like
from tickets behind the stage to being in the bar in the
center
VIP
of the stage.
Oh my
Bar next
gosh.
to
That's
us.
incredible.
We sang like the whole night. It just brought me so much joy. So yeah, that just gets me thinking like, you know, everyone who I admire on social platforms, right, going through this week with the inauguration and who have such strong messages. It seemed like everyone was pretty quiet, but I think it's really about preserving like the boundaries, preserving your space and the joy, and nothing's changed. We are still have work to do. We're still resisting all of this bullshit.
Yeah. Can we just give a moment and a shout out to the bishop that gave the prayer or whatever it's deemed as? Like,
I was
if there was
shaking when I saw that.
anything worth celebrating in that entire day, it was that woman getting up and saying everything that she said and watching the faces of Trump and Vance
be uncomfortable,
wriggle. Melania even being uncomfortable, and just the bravery and courage of that bishop to stand up and be like,
yeah,
this is not good. And how and what she said was amazing. And I think you're totally right. It's that I have one of my absolute best and dearest friends. She is one of the most empathetic people that I know. And she takes on feelings in such a very deep and very big way. And she is one of the most socially minded people I know. She is incredibly proactive in her like action and activity. And I worry about her and people like her right now about the exhaustion and the burnout, the emotional burnout that they're going to feel with all of this happening. And so it is very right about like those boundaries that you have to put up, and that it is okay to find joy, and that is okay. It is not even okay. It's like necessary for your own well-being to find those moments that you can hold on to while everything else feels heavy. And I think, again, Miss Swift did that for so many people last year that are probably holding on to that coming into 2025 pretty clearly. I mean, I'm in Vancouver for a mining conference that's here this week. And so there's lots of Femina members who are here. And it was even funny watching two members meet for the first time. One's American, one's Canadian, who were both here. And the only thing that they connect on is, or have connected on, is that they're both Taylor Swift fans. And when they met in person, it was like they matched each other's energy. It was like hugs all around. It was like, oh, fellow Swiftie, let's unite. Here we are. And it's like, that's the joy that we need to be fostering and need to be bringing while all of these really hard, horrible things are happening. You're right. The work is there. We got to keep showing up. We got to keep doing it. And we have to be able to smile at some points through it and build community, build joy, build support, and just like keep going. We can't have it stop us, and we can't have it halt us at the moment.
It's like being able to, last year I was feeling at the end of last year, I noticed a lot of anxiety that would just come and kind of permeate. And some of it was like hormones for sure. And once I kind of like started dealing with that, working with that, I know like the anxiety went down. But one of the tools is to, when you notice anxiety, it's like a pebble in your shoe. You stop and take it out, right? It's the same with anxiety. So I too started in the middle of the night when I wake up, first thing anxiety, putting in like calming meditation in my sleep mask. I have one of the sleep masks with the
headphones in it. Yes, yeah,
so
my husband got me hooked on those. Yeah,
so good. And but I was so pleased to meet with the meeting we had this morning, where the other woman was like, "Oh, we have. I listen to your podcast at night when I can't sleep."
Yes, that was so nice. She said that she wakes up in the middle of the night and is riddled with anxiety because she's starting her own consultancy, and so she turns on the rebuild so that she feels more normal, and it calms her down. Again, recognizing that we're all doing it, we're all going through it. And that's the community that's being built here. Like, again, I was sharing with you this morning another woman who has listened to every single one of our episodes, who left her corporate job last year went through her own rebuild, is now landed at a phenomenal role at a phenomenal company. And the amount of conversations we've had with her, or that I've had with her, where she said, like, your podcast and the fact that you and Carmen have talked about this so openly, what rebuilding is like, she goes, helped me get through this year and helped me realize that I can do this. It's like, that's amazing. If those are the messages we're getting from having these conversations, then we've done it. Like, we're doing it and we're like providing that support, and by simply talking about it and simply having the conversation.
Absolutely. 100%. It's like you have to be able to see others doing what you want to do. It doesn't have to be exactly the same thing, but just seeing others who look like you, who are like you, who are, breaking new barriers and doing the things like even like things that you could not even imagine that are possible. It makes such a big difference.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Amazing. Well, we have a lot of great episodes coming up ahead of us. So I'm glad that we could.
I'm very excited for this year. So on that, what's happening for you this year? What's going on? What's in the docket?
This year started off so strong, like so strong. We have Peggy who's sitting right over there. And anyone who knows me knows Peggy because she's like the right hand. I think from Femina's perspective, my goodness, this year has started off the strongest year that we have ever had, with memberships up. We launched our experience cohort, which is fantastic. We were able to kind of start teasing yesterday on the stage at AME Roundup about our investment club and the whole women investing in mining, which is a huge thing for us this year. So I think I continue, I think, to continue to go through a rebuild of like where Femina is going. And it's like really exciting and it's really energizing. It's one of those things that every time I'm not working on Femina, all I want to be doing is working on Femina. And so it's like that whole idea of how do I channel the energy that I want to into what's ahead of us, because I think that people need, for all the reasons we just talked about, need community, need connection, need other humanness and whatever that means. And Femina is that within mining, within the industry. And I'm just really, really excited to see how we grow and how we develop, because the year took off better than we could have ever imagined it was going to. I was really nervous at the end of last year. Poor Peggy had to like walk me back from the ledge almost every day for a solid 3 months because I was nervous. I didn't know if Femina was going to survive. I didn't know if we were providing value. I didn't know if members cared about us anymore. I had so much self-doubt in myself, so much imposter syndrome, and just kept trying to show up while truly falling apart behind the scenes. And so between the middle of December and where we are today, it just like is a total 180 on what's happened.
The funny thing about that is really what has changed. Nothing. It's just the results. Like the results have come in. Like, so that's so much. We've talked about this before, is being dedicated to the results, even when you're not getting them.
Yeah. Well, and we know that I'm a person that loves to ride the high of the wave. I love that. I don't love the paddling out and
the trenches
of it. So, but with all that said, I think it's going to be a really great year, and I'm pretty excited. I'm excited for what we're going to do with this podcast. We have so many ideas that we want to put on the table, and I think we're going to be together more in person this year than we have been in previous years, which is also exciting. So there's just a lot to look forward to in all of this.
Yeah.
What about you?
I agree. I'm excited, despite, what's going on in the world. And there is uncertainty for sure with ESG and sustainability. But I know that it's not going away no matter who's in office. We have some of the strongest regulations coming out of Europe right now. So I'm seeing a lot of activity and requests for work there. I have clients here doing really exciting work with them on reporting and strategy front. And then some of my one-on-one clients, it's just I love seeing them shine too and supporting them in this work. And then with Femina, working with Femina, and then the podcast too. So it's like, I think it's I'm looking forward to 2025.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, let's go. Let's fucking go. That's what we do. So, yeah. That's it.
All right. That's a wrap.
It's a wrap. We're done.
If this podcast resonates with you, it would mean so much to us if you could take 30 seconds to follow or subscribe to The Rebuild. This will make sure that you never miss an episode. Just go to the Rebuild Show page on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and just tap the plus sign on the right-hand corner or click follow. This is super important to our podcast. While you're there, if you'd be willing to leave us a 5-star review and share an episode you love with a friend, we would be incredibly grateful. We love you and appreciate you very much.